There we go. There we go. Perfect. What up, dude? What up, Drizza? What up, everybody? All right. So we are on an uptrend here, sort of. Shit's ugly. Bam, 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 bam. Beam, bop, boom, boom, beam, bop, bow. This is the trash that we have. Ugly as fuck. We have a minor uptrend here. If this weekly flips bullish, creating the money printer here, we could be filling the previous weekly wick and the previous range to all-time highs once again. $4K. That'd be wild. So, this wick to the upside gives us range to fill if this continues in an uptrend. So we can disregard everything happening here and worry about what's happening here. Resistance, support, higher high, higher low, higher high. If we create that lower low here, right? If we create this lower low and continue flipping bullish, re-break this high, we'll be filling the wick. Once you fill the wick, you have a high probability of the highs being rebroken here. This will probably take maybe another week or two, maybe 3 weeks. Hopefully we get some good news then. Hey, what up, Santos? How are you, bro? So when we're looking at our daily time frame, we're kind of consolidating here on our daily. Got our highs here, our lows here. Huh. You have a gap here. Was bearish, turned bullish. I would expect a bottom wick on the daily though, right? Money printer here, played out. We actually got a beautiful fill of the previous wick, and we have a new wick to fill. We have a new range to fill to the upside here. I had an entry down here earlier. Once this flipped bullish, I had a buy stop and I caught this candle right here. See what happens here. What's good, gang? Shit, my neck's killing me. Can't even turn my head. I'm a little under the weather still. It fucking sucks. Huh. Taking a breakout is interesting. Let's wait for this hourly closure. Hey, fresh account. I'm feeling like straight dookie, bro. Fuck. I felt better this morning, and then I went home early and tried to rest before stream, and it just got worse. And then since I haven't been sleeping because I've had a fever all night, and then when I take the medicine, it makes the fever go away, but that shit makes me sweat. So I've been up all night, sleeping uncomfortably, and I twisted my neck while I was sleeping, so now I can't even turn my head. I can turn this way, but if I try to turn that way, it kills me. I'm all fucked up. Yeah, but I guess tossing and turning for the last couple of nights, I probably couldn't hold it anymore, and I fell asleep at a weird angle. What day's today? The 13th. I leave in 17 more days. I would be looking for buys here if I didn't have 6 minutes left for the hourly closure. This is very clean setup to take a buy stop. Four minutes. People so fucking stupid, bro. This dude got pulled over and he decides to literally pull his gun out and shoot at the cops. And then the 4 cops that are there proceed to unload 100 rounds into his body. What did you think was gonna happen? And then the family, oh, they shouldn't have done that to him. Brother, your son took out a gun and went at a fucking cop, bro. Come on, dude. Yeah, that's the reason why Florida cops are so aggressive. Would you rather not go to jail than die? I mean, come on, dude. It's just so much easier. A Sam in the house. Hourly just closed. Pumping up with no bottom wick. This is a trade that Kerwin would take. On Monday or Sunday when I took this trade, the exact same setup to the downside. Kerwin, the guy that Wicks had on, he took the exact same trade with this exact same setup. He didn't wait for the bottom wick here. He just took the trade. Because if it is going to drive, it's not going to give you that bottom wick. We tap 34.10 to the dot and then flip bullish. Yeah. This is what Kerwin was talking about, how he doesn't wait for these bottom wicks. It's interesting. See if we can get a higher time frame closure above. Give me like 2 minutes. You're just gonna drive, right? Yeah. No bottom wick. Yeah, I can't take anything there. Classic no bottom wick pump. Never take them as they can always come down to create one. Yep. there. We're about to have a 15-minute closure. This is a buy setup, rebreak of the high after closing above the most recent range. If we fail to break these lows and we flip and break the highs, that's probably a good buy. But if the hourly had a bottom wick, if the 30-minute had a bottom wick, no bottom wick, no bottom wick, no bottom wick. Now that could be just momentum. It could possibly not come back for a bottom wick. We've seen that before. What up, Chris? Let's see if anything happens here at this 4-hour level. Yeah, I can't take any buys like this. Look at this 2 p.m. candle, bro. Remember when I told you about 2 p.m. to keep an eye out for specific times? This is the 2 to 3 o'clock candle. Insane. Two p.m. candle, reverse the market. 2 p.m. reversal, brother. I feel like straight dookie. Fucking sucks. Where are we gonna get a pull back from? Get a pull backula. I mean, we've driven 150 pips from market open. Yeah, I'm waiting for a setup. Strong buying pressure without a proper buy setup indicates a liquidity grab, in my opinion. Let's see. Somebody posted, explain to me why no one is being arrested, but all the arresting evidence is being released. When Tulsi Gabbard posted newly declassified top secret emails sent on December 22nd, 2016, complying with President Obama's order to create the manufactured January 2017 ICA about Russia, exposed how DNI James Clapper demanded the IC fall in line behind the Russia hoax. Clapper admitted that it was a team sport that required compromise on our normal modalities. So it's true they faked the Russia collusion shit. And then I commented, bro, that's because this is the WWE, bro. This is not real life. This is the fucking WWE. Everything is staged. They're fighting each other, but no one is really getting hurt. You see what I'm saying? The Democrats and the Republicans are going at each other's necks, but no one is really getting hurt. Why? Because this is the WWE. Because this is the WWE, bro. Yeah, I agree. The problem is where and when are we going to get the setup to take those cells? See if we can get sells if we sweep this daily high. Bro, I don't know if you can see, but like my head is tilted to one side. I'm like, my head is tilted to like that side because this fucking side of my neck is broken. Spinal. I broke my back. Spinal. I wonder if Wix 9 was in any of these buys. He said he was gonna slide through tonight. He lied to me. I showed up only because he said he was coming. I don't give a fuck about y'all. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, brothers and sisters, if there's any female in the audience. I've had a couple of female audience members. I think one of them was like a new trader. The other one's got a little more experience. I felt bad for the newer one. She lost like thousands of dollars trying to copy trade. It's the same thing that happened to me. You show up to stream and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna copy the trade. And then you don't know how the person trades. You really have no idea what's going on with their strategy or their analysis. So you copy the trade and it ends up being at a loss and you're like, ah, shit. And then I'm only streaming New Asian, so you're not seeing, if I take a loss during Asian, you're not seeing how I make some of it back during New York. And then by the next Asian session, the loss was already made back. So on stream, it's still negative, but in real life, it's not. So if you're only taking stream trades, it's not good. You gotta learn from the stream trades. I prefer to trade New York session, but being able to sit down at the end of the day when it's dark outside, winding down, and trading the night session, I like it as well. Like, look at this volume that we're getting. I'm gonna have a sell stop here. Not a market execution. On this 30-minute money printer off the previous daily high. Since we took out New York high, no bottom wick on the daily, no pullback all the way up, I do believe we should see a pullback, and a strong one at that. It might do something like this. That activated me. So I'm gonna have about 50 pip stops if we re-break that high and form structure. But I'm looking for a decent pull, a decent push here to the downside. Where did it reject off of? You guys can close if you want. I'm holding for longer. We have a lot of volume here. If this re-breaks the low and gives us another push down, I'll go break even. And I'm closing 2 of my entries there, letting the rest rock. I closed 2 at 15. I thought that it was gonna do the same thing to me, Nate. If you look at my screen, if you scroll back 20 seconds, I was struggling to put that shit at break even. I couldn't get it. I was trying to put it at break even, and I kept going 2 pips in front, 2 pips behind, 2 pips in front, 2 pips behind, and I kept going back and forth like that. I was like, no, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. See how we had this 1 minute order block here? I mean, it might come back to somewhere in this gap, tap it, and then come down. It's very, very, very possible. Yeah, especially 5 minute no top wick. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, we're most likely going to get a top wick here, try to retest the highs, and then if it is going to drive down, it'll fake out and come back down. Maybe we can possibly look for a re-entry if the runner doesn't run. The idea was to catch one of these volume candles, and we did. We saw 20 pips on that push now. That's nice. I'm gonna trail my stops down 10 pips. Yeah, that's the thing. So when you drive down with and you leave what ICT people call a fair value gap, price likes to come back and retest it before continuing, right? I don't know what it is, but see how it did it right here? I think the same exact thing is going to happen, and if we do re-break the low, price will probably continue back down. add the record 135. Damn, 135 wins. Holy shit. So we closed partials at 14, and then our runner got stopped at break even, so we lost 1 pip, so we basically closed 13 pips profit. Yeah, we took the money printer off the 30-minute. Off the New York high. How many pips do I target usually? It depends. Depends the setup. For example, a 4-hour, let's say we have, I'm gonna give you the best possible example that I can give you. So let's say you have your support and your resistance. Pay attention. Go ahead. So you have price coming down here. Price then closes below. But then you fake out. You come back in range. Then you get a candle that does some wild shit like this. It making you think you're coming back down. A lot of people will take sells here to fill the range, but then, oops, sorry, I messed that up. So once you get this formed here, you get a candle that comes down like this. And it just gives you a massive body to the downside here, right? And you're like, wow, no pullback here, just a straight dump. Let me get in this on the rebreak of this candle low to fill this range down, when in reality that's a fake out, and then eventually that candle looks like this, and then it'll flip bullish and it'll start driving like this. So if I have something like this forming along with the money printer, which is what we took now, where you basically have, damn, so right now the way it drove up, a bullish candle with no top wick, a bullish candle with no top wick. This indicates no wick fill, so we have no wick to fill here. So because we have no wick to fill here, when the next candle flipped bullish, or flipped bullish and grabbed orders, it was first green, no bottom wick. This is the money printer. Once this candle flips bearish, that you have this, right? You're creating the top wick for this candle, and you're flipping bearish to grab orders before continuing up. Because we did that at a daily high, this is the kind of trade that I could have held for a little bit more, but this was only a 30-minute setup. This wasn't a 4-hour setup. If this was a 4-hour setup and the 4-hour candle was doing this, I would not be closing at 10 pips. I would not be going break even at like 14 pips. I would be understanding a 4-hour flipping after breaking lows and grabbing liquidity. A 4-hour wick is not going to be just 10 pips. It's not going to be just 20 pips. It's going to be 50 to 100 pips. So I can go break even at around 30, 40, 50 pips, or hold the trade, or, you know, set a certain amount of time that I'm going to hold the trade for. If within 5 minutes the structure is not forming the way that I want, I'll go break even and then I'll take partials. But if the structure is forming perfectly bullish, as the 4 hours flipping, I'm not going to just hold for 10 pips. A 30-minute candle could be a 10 pip wick. That's why we went break even so quickly there. But if this happens on a 4-hour setup, sweeping a previous session low, bouncing off of a support on a 4-hour candle, I will 100% hold for a lot longer than normal. But it has to be on the higher time frame. Multiple time frames need to align. Wow, I told you this thing was probably going to take me out and then continue dumping down. I still think we need another pullback, retest of the highs, and then for the actual continuation down. Let's be patient. It'll probably happen on the 9 o'clock closure. A French name that starts with a B? Bonjour. Je ne sais pas français. Oui, oui. I've been practicing how to say, I don't know how to motherfucking speak French. So when I go to France and people start talking to me in French, I can say it eloquently and perfectly. I don't know how to motherfucking speak French. Bro, the more I look at all these other countries, bro, the more I want to stay here in America. I love it here. I love it here. I'm gonna wait for the closure and then use that 9 o'clock volume to get an entry. I have a weird name. My uncle is Eduardo, and my parents wanted to have a biblical name. And my uncle was like, oh, but you need to give him a nickname, because everybody in my family has a nickname. And they're like, but you can't nickname Emmanuel. And they're like, well, replace the first M with the D, call him Ed Manuel, and then you can nickname him Eddie. And then I proceeded my entire life to never get nicknamed Eddie, and they all called me by my full name. And I'm like, so why would you give me that and then never give me my fucking nickname? And then when I was in middle or high school, one of my teachers was like, your name is too difficult to say, so when I want to yell at you, can I say Eddie? That's a little bit easier for when I want to yell at you. And then a teacher trying to yell at me in a shorter way or a quicker ways what started my nickname Eddie. No, Eddie, E-D-D-I. I don't know why I spelled it this way. I chose how to spell it. A lot of people spell it like that. I have no idea. One time somebody's like, Eddie, Y or I-E? And I'm like, huh? Y or I-E? And I'm like, I-E. And that's it. I don't know why. No idea. That's what I've been saying for years. Let's wait. I know we can get a really good sell here. A rebreak of the low here doesn't look bad. We came back and retested this level. I'll wait. This looks very, very clean to drive down. sell stop here to refill this rest of the range. We already came back and formed the structure that I needed. I don't see why this is going to wait for me for the hourly. It might not wait. We know this hourly needs a pullback on the last 15 minutes, a pullback on the last 15 minute. If we stay below these ranges, the next hourly could create a top wick and then dump down, or come down first to grab a bottom wick on this previous hourly. So this is what could possibly be happening. As this candle is coming down, we could be coming down to grab orders from here and before driving back bullish, but we're not getting any top wicks here because it's liquidity. When it's liquidity to drive one way, we're not going to get those wicks. So in order to confirm if this is liquidity to drive down, we're going to get top wicks. If this is liquidity to drive down, we're going to get bullish top wicks. Damn, I'm stupid as hell. You're going to get bullish top wicks before price flips bearish to drive down. If this is going to drive up, you're most likely going to get no top wicks here and just a straight dump down to grab orders before flipping bullish. So whichever way you start seeing structure, that's where you kind of want to start to identify where your possible entries in the direction could be. Because now that we've driven with no bottom wicks here, we've rejected the daily high, but now we're starting to form structure. We came back, we're starting to form support. If we re-break the highs, we have formed structure now to the upside. So the drive down could just be liquidity before the continuation up. So that's how you have to think of things. You got to think of, where's liquidity? I know this is liquidity, the previous high. And the previous high only gave us a rejection of 50 pips. And now we're forming support and driving back the other way. Does that mean this was not enough liquidity? Or is price consolidating at that previous high to then make a decision at that 9 o'clock closure to dump down later? I'm a big fan of name, bro. Just say Eddie. So much less annoying. You missed it at work? This is what you gotta do, bro. Tell ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I need you to make a listening model so I can play it and have it listen to Wix and Eddie's stream, and that way when they take a position, you automatically send me an email and it populates an email and tells me what's going on. I don't know. I just saw some dude do some crazy shit with AI. This AI shit is getting out of hand. Bro, I go to YouTube and I'll see a whole video, and then I'll go to a website where it's called Get Transcripts from YouTube videos, and then I'll upload the YouTube video. I'll get all of the transcripts of the people talking. I'll upload it into ChatGPT or Grok, and I'll have Grok give me a summary. Especially with trading gurus, I don't want to listen to a 2-hour podcast. I put the entire transcript into ChatGPT or Grok, and then I have it give me a breakdown of what they're saying and the key points. And I'm like, oh, all these people are saying the same shit. But I get those transcripts, and then so you gotta be able to use technology to your advantage. Wow, look at this dump right before the 9 o'clock closure. So I put Don's playbook, Wick's psychological playbook. I put my own setups. I put a few podcasts that were my favorite podcasts all into Grok, and I had it formulate a question system that I can ask myself in order to give me a rating if I'm good enough to continue trading after a loss. So I'll sit down and I'll talk to Grok, and then Grok will ask me the questions. I'll answer the questions with as much detail as I can with each question, and it'll use all those details to give me a rating. And then based on that rating, I'll determine if I can continue trading or not. It's an outside perspective, bro, because when you start to take losses and you start to you know, your brain starts to get cloudy and shit like that, you really need an outside perspective to help you see things clearly. And this AI shit for me, bro, has been insane. I show up to everybody who streams that I fuck with. At this point, I'm not looking for entries or exits. I'm looking for psychology and how they manage and how they stay under drawdown and how they take a loss and come back. And I really study their emotions and how they act. I don't give a shit about their entries anymore. I really want to see their thought process behind everything. Especially when the thought process lines up with what I'm talking about. Like if you're super confident that this is a reversal type entry, and if it is the reversal, it's gonna drive 100 pips at least. So you can just continue holding knowing it's gonna dump 100 pips. And that's what Kerwin was saying, how if this is the breakout setup, you should only need to risk 20-30 pips and the trade should pump immediately. Like what I was saying earlier, how he would have probably taken that entry. Yeah, I like to listen to my favorite gurus because I know that they're legit. Sometimes, like when I get on Twitter, bro, sometimes some people are fucking... Can't stand that place, but that place gives me a lot of traction, so I gotta stay. No, I also trade the Nasdaq, but lately gold has been feeding me very nicely, so I've been sticking with gold. Whenever gold gets choppy and indecisive for and not driving like this, like bro, this is great price action. This is not great price action, but this is volume. Almost 200 pips, 170 pips of volume tonight. And we got the setup here. So I'm not really worried about the Nasdaq for now. Holy shit. Wick's cut off like 3 feet of his dreads, bro. And his dreads are still down to his waist. How long were they? So yeah, you just gotta notice the trajectory of how the year has gone. How there was a very, very long win streak, and then the markets started swinging hundreds and hundreds of pips in one direction without pulling back, causing the previous way of trading not to be so suitable. But before, when the markets were like ranging for 200-300 pips a day, you can take as many pineapples as you wanted. But then once the Trump market started coming in, where price started moving 800 pips in one direction without a pullback, he had to change the entry type and give himself less room to breathe, because if you give yourself too much room to breathe, the trade will never come back. So he's being more strategic. Damn, a rebreak of that low was beautiful. Let's be patient here. Let's see if we can get a pullback. I'm not greedy. Let's see if we can get a pullback. See if we can get a pullback, a rebreak of the high, and then a rebreak of the low again. Let's get that double champ action going on. That's the rebreak of the high. Tapped right into the area after bouncing off of here. And now you're flipping bullish. The 30-minute has flipped. Money printed to the upside. Now that this money printer is moving, where is it gonna go to? Are we gonna continue re-breaking highs here? This is our decision-making level here. Is this gonna be one of those? Is this high not strong enough? If this re-breaks the low, you can use this hourly high as a stop loss, which is 26 pips. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. So stop here on the re-break of the lows. After we came down, we closed below, we wicked into this previous area, we closed back above. If this candle, after rejecting this area, comes all the way down and then re-breaks the low, we should have a push down here to our VWAP at least. Yeah, it's good though. It did it on the last 2 minutes. It pulled back. It gave us a wick to fill. It's refilling the wick on the re-break. We should see good volume. closed in the wick fill. If this flips bullish and breaks this high, I'll delete my sell stop. All right, we're in there. Whoa. Hey, Nate. Ban this guy. My brother, please. Hold on, manage your trade first. It's moving. Manage it first. Let's see what it does here. On that rebreak of the low, I'm gonna go break even. That's the rebreak of the low. And we're break even here. I hit VWAP. That's pretty much what my target was, honestly. My target was VWAP. Yeah, I might have gone break even a little too early, but fucking VWAP. I knew that was gonna be a problem. This 5-minute no bottom wick, yeah, of course. Is it worth a retry? That was a good entry here. See, when I took the buy setup earlier, I don't remember where it was anymore. Oh, see here we broke below that low by like 30 pips. 77 pip reversal already. Nice. If we can attempt to come down here and then reflip bullish, I'll try buys again. I'll try some buys. No, he didn't chop his locks, bro. He only chopped off like 10%. I'm gonna have a buy stop here. On the rebreak of this candle high with my stop loss below the VWAP here. That activated me. Yeah, this was the full target. Once we have this setup here, bullish rejection off the target, flipping bullish on the 5-minute after forming support, I think that we have a decent shot at moving up here. Oh, my neck, bro. Shit. The SBS strategy, yeah, by Stoic. What is that? What you see here? What's SBS? This? No, hold on. This? Look at this volume. If it doesn't respect this low, this is probably going to dump. But if it respects this level and it flips, we're probably going to get a nice push to the upside. Yeah, Stoic Jake. No, not Stoic Jake. Stoic, a different Stoic, the original one. I don't think Jake copied his name. I don't think Jake knows who that guy is. My VWAP setting is just factory. Factory settings. I'll be back. I'm willing to hold this trade for a bit. What'd that do? Like 5 pips? Flip bullish already, dude. If it stops us out, that'll be it for the night. We'll be down 15 pips. I don't think it should though. That was a 15-minute closure. We need a top wick on there. Maybe I don't give a fuck about us. That was a good attempt. I'm gonna take a pineapple here. Just in case we get a pop up here. I risk like another 10 pips. Whatever, 20 pip risk here. We can bring this up to like 20 pips. 1 to 1. If you like pina coladas, getting lost in the rain. This could hit TP or stop loss at 3 at night. We stick to our guns. We can consider this a break-even trade. Maybe even close there at 10 pips. 2 positions, 20 pips. And we're calling it a motherfucking night. Have a wonderful night, everybody. 14 on the first, 20 on the second, 34 pips. We're back in profit from the loss from last week. Let's fucking go. 150 across 5 accounts. Hey, be very careful with how you're copy trading, big dog. They will literally allow you to copy trade more than the allowed amount, and then they'll fucking flag you when you request payout, bro. I seen it happen. I've seen it happen, bro. Be very, very careful. Some dude was copy trading like 6 accounts. Wait, how? Oh, nice. So you have good shit. Some dude was copy trading like 6 accounts on top one, and he got breached. And he's like, "But you guys allowed me to." And they're like, "Yeah, but you're not supposed to." I think he had $10,000 in payouts across 3 accounts, and but because he had 30 grand in payouts across all the accounts. So there's a new cloud-based copy trader that can copy trade Tradeovate, Top One, Top Step, Project X, Ninja Trader, MT5, whatever you want. It'll copy trade all of them on the same futures contract. It's a cloud-based copy trader, and it's brand new. I would take a look at it. VWAP is such a strong area. That's why this was my stop loss. That's why I pineappled there. I based my entry all on this because think about it. I'm going to explain to you what the VWAP is. The VWAP, imagine if all of us were in a position right now and this was our average order. If you want the market to continue bullish, what are you going to do when price comes back to break even? You're going to market execute some more buys. What are you going to do if you're a big market maker and you want price to drive up and you know and understand this is the average price? You're likely going to put in some more entries here. So what happens? Off the VWAP, people put in more entries and we got a pump. But the sellers really want to take control. What happens when you're underneath the VWAP? You're now liquidity. You're here, you're now liquidity. Anything under here is liquidity because everybody in the average order for the market is in red. Imagine this is our order here. We're basically red for the day. So pretend it's always a long. The average order is right here. And right now we're break even. So what is the market gonna do? If the market's gonna dump and it's gonna use this as liquidity, you're likely gonna get a massive dump and it's gonna fucking really dump. But if price wants to continue bullish and you're at the average market order, what are people going to do? They're going to load up and price is just going to continue bullish from here. So if we were correct on the bullish trend, this is where price would have reversed. This is where more orders would have been entered into the market and price would have driven up from here. If price needs more liquidity before continuing up, we know that we're probably going to do the opposite to the downside. Well, that's it for me, gang. Take it easy. Beautiful session. We fucking killed it. I appreciate you guys for showing up. Thank you guys. Wix was getting his locks cut, that's why, and it's dumping now. Beautiful exit. Beautiful exit. What an exit. Take it easy, gang.